Chhath just over and political arguments once again flaring over the state of the Yamuna, the river's pollution has returned to the spotlight. Amid the blame game between governments, the Center for Science and Environment's latest report stresses a simple but urgent point. The Yamuna can be cleaned, but only if attention shifts to the real sources of pollution rather than symbolic or seasonal issues. We spoke with Sushmita Sengupta from the CAC to understand what the data shows and what effective action would actually look like. Ma'am, your report says that more than 6,800 crore rupees have been spent on cleaning the Yamuna between 2017 and 2022. But the river we know, still stays extremely filthy. So, from the CEC's perspective, why has this money not translated into a cleaner river?
Okay, so as you understand, this Yamuna flows through Delhi, and only 2% of the length is flowing through Delhi, but it is contributing to 80% of the pollution load, and nothing has changed much. And as you can see in our report, that's almost 7,000 crores has been spent on Yamuna. So why is it that there is a gap and the river is not clean? Number one is, the whatever money had been spent on the more on infrastructure. 37 STPs are there on the ground, but we have not looked into the issues which are more glaring, like number one, the issue that how much wastewater the city is producing. At present, we do not know how much wastewater the city is producing. Census, which was done in 2011 only, after that, no census of population has been done. So, whenever you move to the government agencies, you will find that they will give you a projected number for the population. So, they are saying that at present, whatever sewage is produced this year, say 2025, the DPCC report to the court, NGT court, says that there is only a shortfall of 11%. But what we see around is not that. So this is mainly because we do not know how much exact amount of wastewater is produced by the city. I'll come to the point why we do not understand. And number two, the most two glaring points are like we are ignoring the fact that most part means major portion of the population is actually in the non-sewered areas, unauthorized colonies or the slums where they are staying, which are non-sewered areas. If I come back to number one, why is it that we do not know the amount of wastewater we are producing? Number one, as I said, that population number is not clear to us. Number two, Delhi, as you know, is depending greatly on the groundwater sources also. So the thumb rule says that if you are actually using 100 liters of water, then 80% of it gets converted into your wastewater. But we at present we do not know how much groundwater we are extracting and using. So the government will give only on the amount of supply they are giving to the city. And point number two, if the non-sewered areas, about the non-sewered areas, so they are, since they are not connected to the sewage treatment plants, so the amount of raw sewage that is coming out of that area means mostly they are dumped into the drains or natural drains of Delhi, which again joins Yamuna. These are the two glaring points.
Okay, ma'am, you mentioned about how most of the money is being spent on infrastructure. So I also wanted to ask you that the government has spent a lot of money in building sewage treatment plants, and your report says that 37 STPs in Delhi can treat about 84% of the sewage. So uh, I understand you said that there is no measure of how much sewage is wastewater is being produced, but with these kind of figures, I mean, when you say that spending on infrastructure is the one of the reasons why this is not happening, can you explain why, despite having being able to deal with 84% of the sewage, why are we still seeing such a polluted river?
So when our report was actually prepared, the Delhi government gave that figure actually. So every month, the good thing about the whole case is every month Delhi Pollution Control Committee has to submit its progress to the Green Court. So data are available in the public domain, and as of the latest report, the August report. So we release the report in May, but every month they are coming out with the report, and the August report says that 37 STP is almost done, and there is only a shortfall of some amount of 11%. But still, we are seeing that the Yamuna is still polluted, and we can see different impacts on the ground also. So so I come back to my point number one, why we said that it's not it's only concentrating on sewage treatment plant. So this answer is related to the first answer, which says that we do not know the amount of wastewater that is being generated. So whatever is being calculated, say government is doing a phenomenal job. They are telling that okay, we have to come up with 37 STPs. Surely they have to come up with say 37 or more STPs. A sewage treatment plant needs to be there, but it needs to be fully functional, and it also the city needs to know the amount of wastewater that is generated. So this is only a projected value. They if you see the report of DPCC, it gives a projected population, and accordingly they calculate the amount of wastewater that can be generated. But as I was telling you, that huge amount of groundwater is being used by the city. We all know that if you see the groundwater map of the city, you will see that there are certain areas in the southern part of Delhi and even in the northern part of the Delhi which shows huge decline, which means groundwater is being extracted at these points. And if we can actually know that how much of wastewater, obviously if you use groundwater also you will generate wastewater. So if so government's calculation gives uh, it's based only on the amount of supply it gives to the projected population, since we do not have any population number after 2011. So projected population and water supply based on that, and calculation of wastewater on the basis of that. So only trying to bridge the gap uh, between the sewage that is generated and the STPs becomes difficult. The number becomes difficult, means we need to check on the numbers, because
Okay.
huge amount of groundwater is being used by the unauthorized colonies, the slums where water supply is not there. What happens to the wastewater there? There is wastewater generation there also.
Okay. Ma'am, does this in any way also, link with why the Najafgarh and the Shadar drains continue to be such great sources of filth in, there's still, there's lot of sewage there, even despite the fact that so much money has been spent. So where, is there something wrong? What is with the plan to fix these drains, you think, or what is the reason for that?
Again, I'm coming back to the latest report of DPCC, which gives the data in the public domain. So there we see that 22 natural drains are there in Delhi. Out of that, they are saying that almost, I think, 1100 MLD needs to be tapped from the drains. That is what they are saying. And out of that, almost 1080 MLD, they are saying that we have already made arrangement for tapping. And they are saying that almost they have tapped except 8 drains, small drains. They are saying that we have tapped all the drains, and two major drains, the Najafgarh and the Shadra. Like Najafgarh is contributing to 70% of the load, wastewater load, and even the BOD load to the Yamuna. They are saying that these are big drains and it cannot be tapped, so we have to look into the sub drains. So that portion needs to be clear, like what they are doing to for actually cleaning Najafgarh, because Najafgarh contributes to 80% of the 70%, according to the latest report, 69 point something, 70% of the BOD load and wastewater load to the main river Yamuna. So this is also because that the amount of wastewater that is generated is huge, because groundwater needs also to be calculated in the whole calculation. And also that we are ignoring the fact that huge amount of population is actually staying in this non-sewered areas, which are not connected to the STPs. So it will be dumped into the drains, right? So if we are not trying to see how they are disposing the sludge from these areas.
Ma'am, your report also says, and it's known that the Yamuna doesn't have any natural flow for 9 months of the year, and that everything is diverted to Wazirabad. How does this in any way aggravate the crisis of water pollution?
Okay, so when Yamuna enters Wazirabad, what happens is we take away every drop of water from the river, and in return, we give the sewage back. As I am telling you, that huge portion is staying in the non-sewered areas of the city, and as a result, if you see in the lean period, it's only a drain. You will not identify it as a river, because we are taking out every drop. So what, again, I'm coming back to the point two of my first answer, which says that a huge portion, we have to agree on the fact that huge portion of the city is staying in these unauthorized areas, and the slums which are not connected. So there is a need to actually track how the sewage is actually dumped from these areas, or is it disposed safely. So I want to give you one data, which actually the best part of the some of the slums and the unauthorized colonies we have actually checked on Sangam Vihar, one of the largest slums in the country, which is just opposite our area, which says that there is the area is one is it's depending on groundwater. Again, huge amount of wastewater is produced, and number two, the area is depending on the septic tanks, and as a result, which are connected, septic tank or some sort of holding tanks, which is again connected to their toilets. And if we can keep a track on how this sludge is actually being disposed, is it carried to the treatment plants or not, then we solve major portion of our problems. Because if you see the latest report, only 136 vehicles which are authorized by Delhi Jal Board, which means that only 136 is registered with them and they can track that. But there are no control over other vehicles, because when we went to Delhi Jal Board and we had a discussion, so they were telling that there are many such vacuum trucks which take which actually empties those septic tank or holding tanks from the areas which are not connected to the sewage treatment plants, and they dispose of the sludge on the drains, on the river, in the river, on the river banks, and everywhere. So if we have a system, our report also says that of tracking, these vehicles, then we solve most of our problems.
So now that you have already said that, I'll come to the last and the most important bit, which is that we've seen, like, over the years now, with the various courts, the NGT have there are many bodies which have pulled up various agencies for not being able to clean the Yamuna. So your report says the Yamuna can be cleaned. What needs to exactly happen for the river to be cleaned?
Okay. So to clean the river, one is we need, as I was telling you, that there are certain points which we need to take care of. So that their non-sewered areas need to be taken care of. If we can have vehicles with GPS, then fine enough, we can know whether it can dump the sewage taken to the, whether it is taken to the treatment plants or not. So another thing about the drains, I'm telling you that what happens is, as the drains are passing, you will see sewage treatment plants around these drains. So what is happening? The sewage treatment plant, they treat the water, the wastewater, and they dump it in the same drain which passes through the unauthorized colony. So the same drain picks up both treated and untreated wastewater. So we have to ensure that there is no mix discharge of treated water into such drains. Another thing is that the huge amount of water that is required by the city of Delhi. We are depending on groundwater, we are extracting the groundwater. So what happens is, the groundwater extract due to groundwater extraction, the groundwater decline is happening. So if we can use the treated wastewater, so very recently during our festival time, you will see that there were headlines about malls which are actually running dry. So, and they are very close to the sewage treatment plants. So why can't these wastewater, treated wastewater, be used? We Why can't we ensure that there is a full utilization? Right now there is only small portion of wastewater that is being used for different horticulture, irrigation purpose, and in some power plants, in some industries. But we need to ensure that wastewater is fully utilized and not discharged into the polluted drains. And we need to focus on all the drains, and it has to be very clear how they are actually thinking about cleaning the Najafgarh drain and the Shadra drain, the two top contributors of pollution. And also, as we see that there is a decline of groundwater, as I was telling you. So how to rejuvenate that groundwater? It can be through lakes, it can be through different structures, but the easiest way is to actually recharge it through lakes. And most of the lakes, if you see Delhi Parks and Garden Society's list, that most of it are like dry. So it can be refilled by your treated wastewater. So there, what will happen? Your lakes will be rejuvenated, your groundwater will be recharged, and also the floods, waterlogging which happens due to this shower, that problem also can be solved, because the lakes will be live again and they will absorb the extreme stormwater events. So it's a win-win situation for us. So this is about how we can go about and what are we telling about cleaning Yamuna.
Okay, thank you so much for the interview.